So you're interested in learning everything there is to know about filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada. Thankfully, you've come to the right place. So let's get right into it. Welcome to the Ascend Finance YouTube channel, where we help folks understand the cost and qualification for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada. We actually built a free Chapter 7 calculator that you can use to estimate the cost, qualification, and pros and cons of filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada. Whether you're in a small town in Nevada or a bigger city, the Chapter 7 calculator will give you specific results based on your personal information and zip code. Now in today's video, I'm going to cover four things. First, I'm going to go through the cost to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada. Second, I'll start going through how to even qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada. Third, I'll kind of go through, are your assets even protected if you file Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada? And then fourth and finally, I'll try to answer the question, should you file Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada? Now, one thing to remember though, this video is purely for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice. Like myself, I'm sure you're trying to research as much as you can right now, so I'll try to make this short and sweet by getting right into the first thing, how much it costs to file bankruptcy in Nevada. When it comes to filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy, there are several factors an attorney may consider in estimating a total all-in estimate to file. To clarify though, here's what an attorney actually may look at when they're trying to determine how much they may charge someone. So first, they may look at the complexity of the case. Second, the urgency for that person to file. Third, the years of experience for that attorney. Fourth, the actual cash flow of the client. So sometimes attorneys may be a little bit more flexible if they don't have as much money to pay or the income's lower. And then five, location. So I kind of want to further go into each one real quick so we can kind of explain them. So first, complexity of the case, right? So this generally is going to refer to whether or not you have any assets you protected when you file. So if the client ends up having assets, it may take the attorney longer to kind of get the petition ready. So for urgency to file, whether you may have to file bankruptcy within a few days or months, an attorney may charge more or less depending on how much time they have to get it ready. And then attorney's years of experience, right? So this is going to be a little bit more straightforward. So if an attorney's been filing bankruptcies for more than 10 years versus someone that just started a year ago, they may actually be able to charge a bit more, but it really depends. And then fourth, the cash flow of the individual filing. So sometimes they may charge a smaller fee as a courtesy. Still, the average fee is usually charged regardless of the client's cash flow. Now, finally, the location. So this is actually more relative state versus state, as actually some states may have an average Chapter 7 fee of, let's say, $2,000 versus another state with an average of $1,200. Okay, so before I move on to the next part about kind of qualifying for a Chapter 7, if you actually want to have an estimate for the total all-in cost, you can take our free Chapter 7 calculator below. You don't even have to add an email address to see the results. The idea is it gives you the cost, pros and cons, and whether you actually may qualify for a Chapter 7. Keep in mind, if you don't want to add any contact info, you can just select none of the above at the end, and you don't even have to add an email address. All right, so now let's dive in how to actually qualify for a Chapter 7. So there's going to be three main factors to understand when determining your ability to file Chapter 7. Income, expenses, assets. So those are going to be the three things I want you to remember when trying to understand qualification. So each state is going to have most likely an income limit set for your household size. So what that's going to be considered is the means test income limit. I'll actually put the income limit for the state on the screen, but keep in mind that the means test updates every so often. So that being said, taking our free calculator that's actually in the description can be helpful, as it's actually going to be most up to date with the means test data for estimating your qualification for Chapter 7. Alrighty, so now let's talk about expenses, as the means test has a couple of parts. The first part of the means test is mainly considering your gross income versus the income limit for the household size. Now, the second part generally considers your disposable income. Sometimes individuals may fail the first part of the means test by making too much money, but sometimes pass the second part because the court finds they may not actually have enough disposable income. And so when that's the case, you may find that you can qualify for a 7 even though you make more than the income limit. Now, finally, let's talk about how assets are actually really important to the Chapter 7 decision-making process. So although having assets may not impact your qualification, it may actually impact your decision to file. Almost every state has its own exemptions that filers can use. So they may want to utilize that to protect their assets from being liquidated. Now, the main assets I'd say that individuals are mainly concerned about are their home, or their cars. So let me kind of explain how that looks like it. Now, before I dive deeper into that and how they're all treated, I just wanted to say, like, if the video has ended up being helpful, or if you think it could be, a game changer for someone you know, let's light up that like button below. It seems that YouTube tends to rank videos with more likes, and we like to think that our video can help those dealing with this kind of stressful topic. So let's make it go viral and create a positive impact. Now that we've covered how the assets may impact a Chapter 7 from a high level, let's get into it more and explain how it all works. So to do that, I'm going to use what I'll call the 2 E's, and that's going to help you estimate the risk of losing your asset when filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada. The first E is equity. You're going to want to understand how much equity you have in your home. Second is exemption. Or what's the exemption for your state for the asset you're worried about losing? Talk about that all next here. So one of the most common assets individuals are concerned about losing is their home. So let's use that in this example. At the time of this video, I believe the homestead exemption in Nevada is around like $600,000. And that's going to be for like single folks under the age of 65 years old. I think it's like $605,000. I'll put a link in the description though with an article that'll explain like more details and up-to-date details on the homestead exemption for Nevada, but we'll utilize that value for this video. So let's say you have less than the homestead exemption of $605,000. Well, there's a very good chance it may actually be protected if you file Chapter 7. On the other hand, let's say you have $50,000 more than what the homestead exemption is for Nevada, then it could be at risk of being sold during the process. So you may be curious, what do you even do then if you have more equity than the state exemption, but you don't want to lose your home? Well, it will ultimately be your decision, but it may make sense to look at alternative options. And I actually go through a bunch of alternatives to bankruptcy in my other videos, but if you don't have time to watch them, you're welcome just to take our general debt options calculator that's linked in the description below. It'll break down the cost, duration, pros and cons of alternatives, and even bankruptcy. Okay, finally, should you file Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Nevada? Ultimately, everyone's situation is unique and it's going to be up to you, but if you're feeling like either A, you have too much equity in a specific asset and you're worried about losing it, or B, you're just not sure whether Chapter 7 is right for you, you can take our free Chapter 7 calculator below. It'll help you estimate the cost and qualification in Nevada. That said, I get it if you don't have a ton of time to fill out a calculator, so you're welcome just to call us at 833-272-3631. And we'll try to answer all your questions over the phone, and we can help you understand the risk of losing assets, Chapter 7 qualification, pros and cons, and even alternative options so you can make the most informed decision. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I surely hope it's going to get you out of debt cheaper, easier, and faster. Take care.